All right, welcome. Today we're jumping into the world of human resources, but maybe not the HR you're thinking of. We're going to talk about how it's completely transformed from this, back office admin job into a real strategic powerhouse that can actually shape an entire company. So let's just get right to it. When I say HR, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's still, payroll, paperwork, that kind of stuff. And hey, for a long time, that was pretty much the whole story. But wow, has that role evolved? And this right here, this really nails that huge shift. You can see we've gone from being just administrative and reactive, the department people saw as just a cost, to being a proactive, strategic partner at the table. It's not just about managing people anymore. Now, it's all about aligning with the business strategy and actually driving value for the whole company. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with how HR's strategic role has changed. Then, we'll dig into the modern competency framework, what skills you actually need. We'll look at the technical side and then the managerial side. And finally, we'll see how all of this comes together to make HR a real champion for change. All right, first up, HR's strategic role. What makes a new generation HR manager isn't about how old they are. It's all about their mindset. It's this massive shift from being just an administrator to becoming a strategic architect, literally designing and building the company's whole strategy for its people. And if you remember one thing from this section, let it be this. The number one job for a modern HR manager is to create strategic plans that are completely aligned with the overall business goals. This is so important. We're not talking about some separate HR plan that lives in a binder on a shelf. No, it has to be woven right into the fabric of the main business strategy. So the big question is, how do you actually become that strategic partner? Well, it really all boils down to having the right set of skills. And that brings us to what we call the modern competency framework. Think of these as the absolute essential building blocks for any strategic HR pro. So what are we even talking about when we say HR competencies? Well, it's basically this powerful mix of three things: your technical skills, your functional know-how, and your behavioral traits. It's this specific blend that really lets HR pros step up and nail those strategic roles. And as you can see, these competencies break down pretty neatly into those three key areas: technical, functional, and behavioral. The thing to remember is that none of these work in a vacuum. They're all connected and they're all super important. You really need that balanced mix to be truly effective. I just love this analogy that came up in the source material. It says you should think about your skills like a competency portfolio. It makes so much sense, right? I mean, you wouldn't dump all your money into one single stock. And it's the same with your career. You can't just rely on one set of skills. You absolutely need a diverse, well-rounded portfolio of technical, functional, and behavioral skills if you really want to succeed. Okay, so let's start digging into that portfolio, shall we? We'll kick things off with technical competencies. And really, this is the digital toolkit that is non-negotiable for any HR professional today. And this right here, this is such a critical mindset shift. The days of hearing someone say, "Oh, I'm in HR, I'm not technical," those days are long gone. The source material is crystal clear on this. HR today is all about using digital tech, AI, cloud systems. It's become a very, very technical field. So let's get real about what this means. We're talking about really mastering things like HR management systems, getting good with advanced spreadsheets, using social media smartly for recruiting. It's about using data to predict who might leave before they even think about it. And this is a big one. It's understanding technology like AI. Just think about it. Say your company needs to hire 1,000 engineers. There's no way a human can go through tens of thousands of applications. But AI, it can sift through all of that, pinpoint the absolute best candidates, and hand you a top-notch shortlist. Now that is a technical competency in action. Okay, moving on to managerial competencies. I like to think of it this way. If the technical skills are the what you do, these are the how you do it. This mix of functional and behavioral skills is what gives you the power to actually lead people, influence key players, and drive real change in your organization. Let's break down how these actually look in the real world. So communication, it's not just about being a good talker. It's about building rock-solid credibility with literally everyone, from the brandy intern to the CEO. Critical thinking, that's about making those tough, high-stakes decisions, like should we outsource this department, and really getting the why behind it. And relationship building, That's how you go from being seen as the policy police to a trusted advisor that people actually want to come to for help. It's about building that genuine trust. All right, this brings us to our final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle: becoming a change champion. This is where everything we've talked about, the technical skills, the managerial skills, it all comes together. Because a modern HR pro with that full competency portfolio isn't just managing processes anymore. Oh no, they become one of the main drivers of transformation for the entire organization. And this metaphor from the source material just captures it perfectly. An organization that doesn't change, it's like stagnant water. It just gets unhealthy. But an organization that's constantly changing and evolving, that's like fresh, flowing water. And in the world we live in today, HR has to be that force that keeps the water moving, that keeps things fresh. So here's the roadmap, the pathway to making that real strategic impact. Step 1, you build your own competency portfolio. Once you have that, you're empowered to create real strategic plans. Those plans then give you the leverage to drive change across the whole company. And what's the end game? Nurturing talent and building brand new capabilities that the organization needs to win in the future. So when you think about it, your role goes way beyond just the HR department. You become the change champion, and you become the capability builder for the entire organization. You're not just training your own team. You're responsible for growing and fostering skills across every single department. That's a huge deal. So there you have it. That's the playbook for becoming a truly strategic HR leader, from the mindset you need to the specific skills that'll get you there. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Now that you have the map, what's the very next competency you are going to work on adding to your portfolio? Thanks for tuning in.